Good morning, good morning. Happy Sunday to all. Hope everybody's doing well. So, a little bit of background behind what I'm going to work on today. So, this past Friday, I had a gig, and we were kind of approaching it totally ad hoc, totally improvisational, impromptu, etc. And so we were just kind of making stuff up on the fly. And one song that we typically play is what song is it? Closer by Nine Inch Nails. And I decided, just wanting to practice jazz styling a little bit more, I decided to swing it up instead of it being in its typical, more straight fashion. So the beat, as it kind of goes, sounds as such. More or less, it like kind of changes. There's certain little switch ups here and there, little syncopations, etc. But when we throw the swing in, if I was to take this swing bar and throw it up to like say 35, so what I figure, so to take the idea here generally is to take straight rhythms that I know and work on swinging them that way. Um, I can apply them within a shuffle or a swing kind of context. So that's what I'm going to work on here today. Is just taking existing rhythms that I'm familiar with and finding out how I find comfort those those patterns within a more swung context. And I'm going to do this two ways. Uh, I'm going to do it in kind of in the way that we see it right here, where it's snare on the 2 and the 4. And then I'm also going to explore it in more of a half time. So I guess this one currently on screen would be cut time, and then I'd have another one that is in, I guess, half time. So we'll take that one bit at a time. And for just added background, I have been noodling around with this for a little bit, so I'm not totally starting from scratch on it. So it might come together a little bit quicker. It's more so going to be me refining my understanding of this within a swing context instead of starting totally from scratch. So just wanted to give some transparency there that I'm not totally starting from ground up on this. But it's sounding really cool so far, and I'm enjoying it. So I figured I was just going to practice it a little bit more and record it while I'm at it. So more or less, or I guess on the whole, the big idea here is if you're working on a new style or a new feel, a great exercise that you can apply is just take rhythms that you're already familiar with and reiterate them so that you can use them within those other styles, things of that sort. Whatever you existing, whatever existing knowledge you have, see how you can leverage that for you getting better in other areas. So let's go ahead and drill into it. I'm going to take a sip of this coffee before we get into it. And I'm going to clip on. I know this sounds a little bit less than ideal. Once I get it clipped on, it doesn't seem to pick it up great, but whatever. And I'll probably do mute on and mute off as I go as well. But just going to be practicing. So if we were to swing this as we were listening to, so cool. So I'm going to throw that jazz swing pattern. So what I kind of landed at for this is, so it's this. And I need to figure out an exit plan for it too. I like that for that. So let's start that up. So So now I'm starting to fall apart a little bit, but that's all good. That's why we're practicing it. So. Ah. So one thing that I need to actually work on is if I'm coming from the walk the dog, being able to take it from the dog, walk the dog, and then use that as like a crash into a fill. So that right there, like just being able to. And that's gonna be hard too. There it is. There it is. Okay, so that's me putting the piece together, not cleanly, but working it out. So it'll kind of come together as I go from here. So. And I think what would also be beneficial would be dropping the. So for the last one. That way I don't have to worry about that ride, kind of doing the two. It might just make for an easier transition if I drop that one out. So that's something I might play around with. If I'm like totally not able to land it, then that's how I'll kind of approach this. So. Okay, that was close. I felt like the transition with the kick, I was getting close to it. So not totally there. I'm gonna do one for one. I'm gonna do one of the groove and then one of the fill. That way I get more practice with the transition because I'm feeling pretty good about the groove itself. I'm feeling pretty alright about that. Like it's coming together nicely. I know where things land, etc. But I just need to figure that transition. And honestly, even just doing getting used to that going into a fill, having that kick drum on the downbeat, and having my left hand launch into starting the fill, I think that'd be good practice for me. So I'm gonna work on just one groove to one fill. And I want to really get into the habit of keeping this while I'm filling as well, just so that I get used to maintaining that ostinato. So. Okay, close. Close. I did the fill a little bit wrong there. 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, ready, go. And now I'm really falling apart. Sunday sleepies, I suppose, but sometimes it's just a matter of take a second and like sit back, disregard the groove, take a sip of coffee, all that. Okay. And then get back to it. So let's try that again. So. There it is. Damn. Close. I gotta get that double kick down. This is the big thing right here. I just keep kind of missing it a little bit, which is fine. Like if I don't totally hit it, the the phrasing is still intact. If like one of the kick drums kind of triggers a little bit lightly, that's not the end of the world. If anything, it probably adds a little bit of taste, but I just want to be intentional with me hitting it instead of I want to. So, but again, if it's not perfect, I don't care because the timing's still there and it's still conveying what I'm trying to say. So. There it is. I like that fill a lot. I like when fills kind of, I know it's not like jazz tasteful, but I'm not a jazz drummer. I'm somebody that is just trying to understand like tropes of jazz. That being like the swing style, or like the swing groove, the more 16th note triplet format of space and whatnot. I guess it's technically swung eighth notes, but it really translates to 16th note triplets when you actually break it down. So it's me like approaching jazz styling from a way that makes sense to me. Find a way that makes in styles that don't totally click with you. Come up with a way for it to make sense for you instead of trying to know it perfectly. It's probably terrible advice, but so be it. So let's keep drilling that part just to get that down, and then we'll work on more of a halftime iteration of it. So. Okay, now I'm gonna try, since I feel pretty alright about that. I'm gonna try and now do it for 3 of the groove to 1 of the fill, or whatever that is. Longer groove phrase, and then the fill on the end. So. Okay, cool. Let's do that one more time just to buckle it in. If it falls apart, that's fine. I'll move on because I at least have one good run of that, and I at least have the feeling down that I can then kind of copy paste to any future time that I practice it. So now it's just going to be like kind of tightening it up, getting it to where I know that I have a better consistency with landing it, so to speak. It's almost the equivalent to somebody skateboarding. Like, you know, if you can consistently kickflip, that's good while you're just riding around, because then you can just do it on the fly instead of it being like a 50-50 chance of whether you'll land it. The better likelihood that while you're just riding on flat ground that you could bust a kickflip and land it, the better. Then you kind of up it from there to, okay, if I come across like a 3 or 5 stair, do I know that I can consistently land it? Just the goal is to be able to continue without flaw. And when it comes to drumming, like when you're playing in a live context, you almost want to dumb down what you're able to do. If like your max is here, you almost want to dumb it down to here. That way you know that you'll land it, because unlike with skateboarding, if you fall, you can just pick it up. But in a drumming context, you have an entire band kind of counting on you to land that and continue on smoothly. If you don't even land it 100%, that's fine, as long as you lock back in. That's one thing that is different about skating too. But all that to say, the goal is to do the trick, so to speak, that being the fill or the groove, and then continue into the next part, section, phrase, etc., as intact as possible. So whatever gives you the best likelihood of that, go with that. So that's where I kind of operate under your level of competency or capability is up here, but in a live context, only play to this level. So you can play here. This is your full capability that you practice, but here is where you will use during a live setting. That way you don't kind of push yourself, fall, and then the rest of the band falls with you. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so let's try that one more time. If I don't land it, that's all good. Okay, and I didn't land it. try one more time of just single groove, single fill. Okay, I'll try one more time. Whatever, I'm here. And I could probably, if I'm having trouble landing that double kick consistently, I could, since I only have one tom hit here at the end of that fill, I could just turn that into a double, like switch the double roll from here to here, so 2 here to 1 kick here. So see that? So instead of doing the double kick here, so, and actually that actually might be better. So, because then both my kick drum and my hi-hat are falling at the same time. So I actually might go that round set. Yeah, actually, that's much smoother, because it's just literally both of my legs dropping at the exact same second, instead of where it's a kick drum followed by kick and hi-hat together. So yeah, dude, actually, I like that. So, and it's 2 toms each, so it just feels nice and consistent, well-rounded. Yeah, I really like that. Let's stick with that. So, except I'd want to keep the hi-hat going. So, there it is. Let's try one more time through the full thing. I mean, like, we're just getting reps in right now, so I'll play the same thing over and over again. That's a-okay. So. There it is. Okay, cool. So that's coming together really, really nicely. Now, and I'll come back and I'll revisit that later. Sometimes it's good to take some time away from it, go try something else, and then come back to that. Because almost like if I'm working on it right now, I have almost in computer-like fashion, like random access memory, where it's like immediately there. So it's easier for me to pull up and land it. Versus if I land it and then I go work on something else and then I come back to it, it might not be so immediate in my brain and my motor functions and whatnot for me to stick it right away. So it's good to step away, come back to it, and see if you land it right away after that time away. So let's try it in kind of a more of a halftime context now. And then once I'm done, I'm gonna try and kind of fuse the two together. That way I can work on doing a more common time and then a more cut time. So if we were to look at this, let me just duplicate this page. That way I can make edits to that. So duplicate, and then I'll switch this to, it would technically end here, land here. Actually, bump, bump, bump. Cool. So that's more or less it. It's gonna have, again, it would like have some different changes, and just so you can hear the straight version of that in more of a halftime. But we're gonna work on it in a swung style, and I found that 35% swung is kind of like where I want it. If it's any more than that, I feel like it almost feels like more navigating into like the 16th note terrain instead of like a 16th note triplet. And here's how that sounds. It sounds a little too like, and I want it to be more of a 16th note triplet. So bring it back down to the 35. So, and again, transparently, I was kind of working on this already a little bit this morning. So I kind of already have a fairly familiar grasp with it, but I'm probably gonna blow it anyway. So if we were doing halftime, so So, and I keep wanting to throw a kick in there, so I keep wanting to throw one there right before the snare drum. I keep wanting to, but I actually don't want to. So it's just basically going to be 1, 2, 3, bum, 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 or actually, and that's where I want to drop this one. So, gone. So, or actually, maybe I do want that there. So what I'm doing right there, just to kind of keep the ghost notes filling out the space. So it's accent followed by ghost note followed by the dog. So and it's sometimes with this swing pattern, it's a little bit easier at faster tempos, but it's good to practice just chilling out back in the slower tempo as well. So sometimes I need to speed it up in order to make sense of it, and then almost kind of bring it back down. And I need to just get that right hand really working for me on that. So I think the problem that I'm running into there is my like kick drum doesn't want to like do the swung on like almost the third 16th note triplet of a cycle. So so that's where I'm kind of having a little bit of issue right now. But we'll work that out further from here. So that's me drilling basically like this little transition section just so that I can work on getting the that's where it's going to fall. So sometimes it'll be a little bit tricky because it's like the kick drum's falling on the. So walk the dog, 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 walk the dog. And that's kind of like a tricky little section to land right there. So. And like I'm still wondering if I want this kick drum here or not. Dun 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 dun. I kind of like the extra space instead of having that kick drum there, so I might just drop it, even though the rhythm would technically be dun 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 da 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 dun 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. So like even though that would technically be right, I'm almost letting the snare drum speak for that kick drum right before it, and I think I'm gonna leave that. So let's play around with that rhythm a little bit more without that fourth kick drum where the mouse is right here, or where the cursor is, or whatever. So. Yeah, like, so on the back half of that, I started throwing that kick drum back in just because I was like, okay, let me feel around with it. I just like the space better. I like the space better with 1 2 3 1 2, or so 1 2 3 space 1 2 3 1 2 3 snare 1 2 3. So I kind of like that. So I'm gonna keep it like that, since I'm kind of getting that feeling. Since I'm getting that feeling down, I'm gonna start working on kind of going back and forth between the common time and the cut time. So the distinction here, just that we're tracking, is here it's on roughly 2 and 3 and 4. It's roughly on 2 and like in the 4 count somewhere, even though it's on 4E. So that right there versus it only being on 3. So it just kind of gives for a more open sound when you do it in this cut time. So this is cut time where it's on the 3, and this is common time where it's on the 2 and somewhere in the 4, albeit syncopated on the 4. So let's see if we can kind of piece together the two. And now is where I come back to this original one and see, okay, do I remember how this went? So. And I think this one, did I land on? And I think I even switched this to where it's technically on the and, but it's me just kind of like playing around with the feel of it a little bit. So it's like it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just taking the general vibe of something in straight and then switching it to feel more swung and see just how you make it make sense. So. So what I'm noticing right off the bat as I try to switch between the common time and the cut time is that I feel like I'm having an easier time going from the cut time to the common time than the other way around. So all that's going to take is just a little more playing around and just figuring it out. So I'm going to keep noodling with it a little bit just to see how I can get those two working together, and then I'll probably try and see how I can interject that
fill that I was working on earlier as well. So let's see. Right now, though, no fill, just transitioning between the two versions of the groove. Because I'd almost see one as being kind of like a verse, where it's, or let's think about it this way: like, verse would be me doing it on the hi hat, chorus would be me doing it on the ride, and then say for like the last chorus, I would just in the back half of the chorus, just to give extra impact, I could switch it to cut time versus the common time, which has kind of been held throughout. Just gives that little dose of impact. So, okay, so working on the two back and forth. So. Okay, so it's coming together pretty nicely, actually. So now I gotta ask myself, how do I want to throw this fill into the mix? Uh, for practice sake, it would be good for me to be able to do it, or just like different fills coming out of either of those sections, the common time or the cut time. But I almost kind of see myself I almost see myself using it more in the common time because I could use it to like come out of a verse into a chorus. I could see it as me going from the cut time, like say within a chorus, I could see me going from the common time version to the cut time version, using that fill as a transition between those two iterations of it. So let me do from common time, fill, and then cut time. So that's how I'm going to work on it right now. So. Oh, actually, that would probably, with this fill, just since it ends where it does, it would probably almost be better at the end of the cut time because it's kind of like putting the button on it all. It doesn't even go the full duration of the phrase. 2, 3, 4, boom. See that? Like, so it still has space on the back end, so it'd almost be a better way to end off the song. So let's do common time, cut time, fill at the end of the cut time. So. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 common time, 2 cut. 2 common time. If I land into the cut time effectively, then I'll go for 3 of those and then fill at the end of that. So. Okay, cool. So that's like not the cleanest thing in the world, but at least kind of get the feel for it. So so let's try that again. Keep working through it. It is afternoon in Colorado right now, and I should stop drinking coffee, but I am going to continue drinking coffee because I want to. Okay, so let's try that again. Cool. I like that. Sweet. Yeah, I really dig that. That's cool. It's a cool little section. I'm gonna maybe just noodle around with it a few more times, but otherwise I have those 2 versions of it. I have like a default, like, so a thing too with fills is like, this is going along with that whole like working below your level of competency. I call it my 85% rule. Like, here's my level of competency and here's about 85% of it. In a live setting, I'd rather fall to 85% of what I'm capable of doing than max out at 100%. And part of that falls into play where it's like, okay, if I have a fill that I know will execute on what I'm trying to convey, then I will rely on that. There's no shame in that, and it almost creates a theme when you're using similar vocabulary or kind of using the same fills or whatnot. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Uh, the listener can latch onto it better because it's familiar to them even at that point because you've done it before versus giving them a new fresh fill every single time. There's just it's good to be able to do that, but it's more of a musician kind of thing versus a like just a regular listener who's just wanting something cool to listen to. They don't need something new all the time. So all right, so let's keep working through it a little bit. So cool. I'm actually very happy with that. And I'll keep working on it as I go. Just keep practicing that and just get it more refined. Uh, but I'm happy with that right now, at least. So that's cool. So moral of the story for this whole session, and I'll probably do more of this coming up when I sit down to practice, but the whole idea is just seriously taking rhythms that you already know and just using them in different contexts than you're used to. Like I have another example right here, just to kind of drill the point home. Uh, I've been practicing a lot of jazz recently, but I am kind of a gent metalhead at heart, if you couldn't tell from my other YouTube content, and uh, and so this is um, from a song. Which song was this? This is "Habitual Line Stepper" by Periphery. So, or or wait, do I have that one still on here? I have that somewhere sitting around. I was working on it. I know I have it somewhere. I'm just looking at some other random ones that I have open right now. I don't know where I have that, but I had one. I don't know if this was something else. I don't know what this was, but like, uh, so here's habitual line, or at least like, like, and then we could just take that, like that rhythm that, like in my case, I am familiar with, and just kind of use that within a more swung feel. So, uh, oh, that's why it's coming through really loud. Well, whatever. I'm still figuring out this whole streaming thing, but the sole purpose here is really for me to practice, and I just figure I'll share it with y'all. So, take for any new things that you're working on, see how you could take pieces of things that you already know and leverage that within your practice of the new things. And it might make the new things easier, and it'll give you more vocabulary in the new things. So, all that to say, I'm probably going to practice for a little bit longer, but I'm going to let y'all go now. So if you're tuned in, I appreciate it, and hopefully this helped in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, I'll jump back on to practice again sometime soon. So take